Okay, working on another project. Got some poor hot water out of the tank here. It's been a steady problem, and it's progressively getting worse. So first off, I think what I'm going to do is drain the tank out and go ahead and drain that water down and flush out any crap that's probably in there. I just got done draining the water heater out, and as you can see, this is all the crud that was in that tank. It's pretty good. Well, I refilled the tank and gave it time to heat back up. I do have better heated water at the moment, but I'm not sure of the longevity of it. Seems like if you're taking a 10-minute shower, you're running quick, so I'm almost wondering if one of these elements, either the top one here or the bottom one under that panel, or within that panel, I'm wondering if one of those is bad. The first step with checking the ohm readings here for the heating element is I remove both leads here, both the wires, from the element itself. Let's go ahead and put these on here. And let's see. Right now we're testing at a, what we got here, a 13.0 and okay, 12.9, 13.0. Minus the 0.8 I had for the testing the resistance in my test cable, which will give us a final reading here of a 12.1. That's for the upper element. Okay, now we're going to ohm test the bottom. What we do is that's just the ground wire there grounding the case. We're going to go ahead on this one too, remove the wires from the element. I usually like to tighten these back up just to get a truer reading. Okay, again we're on the lower element. Get our probes in place, and on this one on the lower we're reading a 12.9 minus our 0.8 for the tester resistance. I am still getting poorer heat. Even though these have continuity, there was an awful lot of sand in here, so I'm wondering if I have a problem with the thermostat, or simply because of my neglect, there's so much crud in this tank, maybe the elements are actually covered in debris and you know, the hard water elements on there, and preventing it from heating properly, even though I have continuity. I end up have bought a kit, and I'm going to end up replacing the elements anyway and see where we go from there. And the kit actually is the two elements rated for this tank at 4,500 watts and both thermostat controls. So either way I'm covered. Okay, first step of draining. Going to want to shut off that shutoff valve up there and stop the supply from coming into the tank. Alright, the next step is to open up that valve and to slowly start draining the tank. Okay, next what I want to do is start venting this out. That's what's really going to start the draining process here. And we'll just open up the valve and get a little air into the system. Well, it's just starting to trickle out now. You can see it's starting to pool. Not very a strong stream. You probably use channel locks and get in there, but I ended up picking up one of these element sockets. Couple bucks, no big deal. Okay, I ran into kind of a bit of a problem, and I don't do this for a living, but let the hose, hooked up the hose, let it drain for a while, and when I thought it was empty, the sediment in the tank had clogged the valve, and as soon as I took off that element, I started taking on water like the Titanic. It was pretty good. I wasn't filming that part at the time, so I can't show you that part, but take my word for it, it was flooding out of that bottom element. So now I've got the problem of trying to get the water out. The valve at the bottom is obviously clogged or not good, so I'm not sure what to do short of flooding the basement. Okay, I'm back. Like I said, there's the valve. The water had stopped draining. I think the sediment clogged it, and I thought it was gone. Like I said, tried to take out this guy, and I got just about soaked here. I had to quickly throw it back in because I was taking on a lot of water. So I put the old one back in, stopped the water, and all right. So here's what I'm going to do because I can't move the water out of that. I'm going to take my shop vac here. I've got an old Sears Craftsman. I took out the filter. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing and put it over the valve like this. It's a wet dry vac, and I'm going to see if I can not only suck out the water, but hopefully the obstruction that's in the valve. And of course, this is improv on my part, quick thinking on my part. I got to get the water out of this tank. Okay, moment of truth. It's just down to a slow trickle here. Not really no big deal, I guess. That's what I thought last time. Alright. Moment of truth. This time I'll film it. See if I wear it again. It was pretty humorous the last time, let me tell you. Like a motion picture. Well, I guess I got it. Alright, I did have some stuff right here. Calcium buildup or whatever, so it's probably a mess. Let me stick this spade drill in here, see what I get. I'm gonna go fishing around here, see if I can scoop up some crap. See what I got here. Oh yeah. Boy. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, well, this is the time I do my public service announcement to say, make sure you flush your water heaters out once a year. Yeah, that's horrible. And I'm not really happy with this valve. I almost wonder if I can replace that with a straight shutoff ball cock type of hardware plumbing valve. Something that's got a smooth bore and it'll just blow right out of there. And because of the problem here with the sediment blocking that little shutoff plastic crap valve, and because I can't leave anything alone, I'm modifying the I'm going to modify the tank. The parts I mocked up at the hardware store. Right there. Got a brass nipple, ball style, ball valve shutoff, and then I've got a hose adapter, and then of course I've got a cap on the end for hose cap. And I'm going to put all that together, and the good part about this, that sucker is completely open, and that'll move a lot more sediment than that little crappy valve. Okay, folks, there's a little modification in place. Hopefully it works. I'm done with these crappy little drain valves that don't really let the sediment out. See ya. Make sure that you got the old gasket off. It should have came with the element. If it didn't, clean up this hole as best you can. And I'm just going to make sure by scraping out the threads here and make sure I've got no gasket debris left in the hole. Alright folks, there's the upper one back in place. All you got to do is just screw in the heating element back in. Do not over tighten it. Make sure the seal was seated correctly. And go ahead and put the wires back the way they were. Just basic electrical. Make sure that when you put the wire in, the screws turn clockwise, so you want the wire to auto feed in. You don't ever want it to where it's going to back out by putting it on the opposite side. So that's just basic electrical. Check the routing. Everything looks good. This one looks good, providing it doesn't leak. Alrighty, and there's the bottom one all set in. Nice and tight. And the wires rerouted and mounted. Alright. That ground gets tucked in once we put everything else out. It's the ground for the tank right here. So, alright, I think everything is together. Couple things. I need to fill the tank. Check for leaks. You need to fill the tank completely before you throw the switch back on, because you will burn out the elements that you just installed. Has to have water around it, very important. Alright, got the water filled. I flushed it out as many times as I'm possibly going to this time. I think I'll maybe flush it out in a month or two, and then probably at 6 months, and then every year after that, and then hopefully it should flush out as much as I can. There's probably still stuff in the bottom of the tank. I can only get so much out, but it's a lot better, I'm sure. So we have 2 new elements. We've got the one down in here, and we've got the one up in here. I think I'll leave the covers off for right now, just to check for water leaks and make sure it's not dripping, and plus with the new modification I put there and got rid of that crappy factory stem. So I'll leave the covers off. I did just throw the switch. So we should be live and let's see here. We should be live and heating up. Let's check for hot wire here. Okay. My leads here. Now lower. Okay. All right. Very good. So it's hot. We'll check it in a little bit. I've already bled the system upstairs, opening the faucets. Got the air out, and we'll let it sit for a bit. Let it heat up. We'll check for hot water, and then I'll button these covers up, and hopefully that'll be the end of that. So there's another edition of how to spend your day off. Driveway mechanics, and now interiors as well. We'll talk to you later.